Welcome to the Ex Good Girl podcast, the place where people pleasers, perfectionists, and overgivers come to unlearn the good girl rules that you thought were making you good, but now you can see are actually just keeping you small. If you've spent your life being unable to say no, putting everyone else's needs and feelings above your own, constantly seeking external approval, or avoiding conflict to make others feel comfortable, if guilt and resentment feel like a constant weight in your life, it is time to learn to knock that shit off. Every episode, we dive into the stories, skills, and strategies that you need to stop shrinking, start speaking up, and to live a life that is authentically and unapologetically yours, while also deepening the connection and vulnerability in the relationships that matter to you. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in. All right. Welcome to How to Find Your Outside Voice. It is a short mini-series I'm doing as the lead up to a free workshop I'm hosting called Say What You Need to Say. If you have been here for a while, this is not something new. You've heard this before. If you are one of the newer listeners, welcome. So glad you're here. This series is really driven by my undying commitment to this belief that I have that when women have the skill of being able to speak up in ways that are comfortable and doable, where they can see the conversation all the way through, that they can actually change their life. They can change the lives of their loved ones. They can remodel and improve relationships. They can stop worrying about other relationships that are taking up too much time in their lives. They can save time, energy, effort, brain space, and resources. And so my commitment level to teaching women this skill has never been higher. It has never been needed more. And I want to talk to you about why it is so important. If you find yourself not able to have conversations that you need to have that are weighing on you, that feel heavy, you're in the right place, and we're going to do something about it. Before I get into some of the content for these episodes and something about the workshop, I want to start with something different. And I really want you to hear this. You make sense. Everything that you are doing, every time you've gone quiet when you wanted to speak up, every time you have spoken up and then caved or accommodated or retreated, it all makes sense. One of the defining characteristics of the women that I talk to is a deep sense of something is wrong with me, or why am I bad at this? I should be better at this. I am 40 whatever years old, 50 whatever years old, 60, 30 whatever years old. Why am I still struggling with this? It makes complete sense because that's what you learned, and you learned it for a reason. And here's what I actually mean. I want you to think back, because at some point early, probably, you got messages about asking for what you wanted or telling the truth about your experience. Maybe it was direct. Maybe you asked for something and you were told no in a way that really stung or was embarrassing. Maybe you told the truth about something that was happening for you and you watched someone dismiss you. Maybe it was the climate of the family you grew up in, or the religious or social or cultural or political or professional group, that you grew up in or are a part of now, where certain things are simply not said aloud. I know that when I think about that, like, what could I not say growing up? There's a list, right? There are rules. And my nervous system and your nervous systems, which are very, 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 very smart, noticed. It cataloged. It took notes, asking for this kind of thing or saying this truth out loud in this kind of relationship with these kinds of stakes. Can't do it. It's risky. And it built a system to protect you from that risk. Let me give you a personal example. In the religious organization in which I grew up, the LDS Mormon Church, one Sunday a month, we had what was called testimony meeting, where members of the congregation could get up and express their feelings about maybe Jesus or the gospel. And it was meant to be a very faith affirming experience. You were encouraged to share stories that were faith promoting. And so when I got up, I think I was probably 14-ish years old. This was in the congregation that I had grown up in since I was I didn't ever know a different congregation. These were the people I'd grown up with. I had a sense that there was something that I wasn't sure of in Mormonism. I couldn't have named exactly what it was. But when I got up, I don't remember having a point, but what I remember most vividly is that I was standing at a microphone in front of my congregation. I could see everyone. I could see my family sitting in the pew. And I said something like, I don't know that everything that you all tell me is true is really true. I don't know how to know that. And I have questions and I have doubts. And I worry that what I didn't say underneath was, I worry that I don't belong here because I don't believe the same way you do. And it was the attempt of a young girl to show some vulnerability to the people who were tasked with being her community and to be received. And I remember my mom's face just kind of falling. I remember her looking down at her hands and not meeting my gaze again. And I remember the sinking feeling in my body of like, oh, I'm not supposed to be saying this. This is not okay. And afterward, a man from the congregation came up to me and put his arm around me and said, well, you always keep things really entertaining. And so in those two instances, I learned that if I can't talk about things that are not supposed to be talked about, or my mother, right, somebody who I need for love and support is going to withdraw from me. And I'm going to be teased. It's going to be something not taken seriously. And so I know that you can think of something like that happened to you. And our nervous systems, of course, respond. One of the ways that we learn to behave after this, that I hear a lot of clients talking about, looks a little bit like this. You put a little bit of yourself out there, right? Just a little bit, just enough to test, to see what other people's reactions are going to be. And then you wait. And then at the first sign of resistance, the first hint of tension, the first moment when that other person's face does something that you weren't expecting, you retreat, you close down automatically. Before you even make the conscious decision to do it, you just cave. Because what your system has said is, danger, 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 danger. And so your nervous system makes the decision for you. And then later, when the threat level has passed and you don't feel activated, then you kick yourself. Why did I retreat? Why did I collapse? Why did I cave? Why did I accommodate? And that vicious judgment cycle that so many of us are stuck in kicks back in. And here's what I really, really, really want you to understand. That automatic shutdown is not weakness. It is not a character flaw. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you or that there's anything going on other than you have a protection system that was built a long time ago. When the relationships that you depended on for safety were the same ones that you could not risk. The problem is just that the protection system doesn't update itself on its own. It doesn't know that you're an adult now. It doesn't know that you have different resources and options and opportunity now. It doesn't know that you don't depend on those same people in the same way. And it doesn't know that some of the relationships that you actually want to be deeper and more connected can't be if you're still protecting yourself. That system just runs all the time. And that protective system running means that you, a driven, capable, intelligent woman who can handle just about anything, can't handle telling the truth. and asking for what she needs in some situations. Can't handle asking for more connection here or more limits there, more of what you actually need from the people who matter most to you. And I spent years in this, right? That wasn't my first opportunity to get feedback on telling the truth. I became the woman who on the outside looked pretty together. And on the inside, I was really resentful and lonely. I was performing, I was over delivering. I was convinced that if I stopped being useful, people would lose interest in me. And if I asked for too much, I would lose the relationships that I had. And that belief shaped everything. It shaped my marriage, it shaped my friendships, until it didn't, until I was able to see it. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a later episode. For now, I want you to just sit with this. The reason that you can't ask or tell the truth about what you want or need or your experience has nothing to do with being broken and everything to do with being protected, overprotected. And that's a really important difference. You were just never taught that asking for what you wanted was safe. So of course you can't ask. That just makes complete sense. And so when that comes up in your mind, why can't I? I should be able to. I want you to tell yourself, oh, this actually makes sense. I was never taught how to ask for what I wanted in a way that feels safe and doable. And so that's where we're going to start. And that's why this workshop is called Say What You Need to Say. It's free, it's an hour, and it's for women who are really ready to finally learn this skill of asking, starting somewhere small, starting this week. The link is in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there. I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thanks for listening. If this podcast has been helpful to you, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a 5-star rating in whatever platform you listen to your podcasts. And if you go to my website, sarafisk.coach, you can sign up there to receive my emails. Right now, I'm taking private one-to-one clients who want my help speeding up this work in their own lives. I really hope to provide a lot of free information on my website and in my podcast for people to do this work on their own. But if you're interested in having a coach like me to help you implement these things faster, to find the blind spots and obstacles that you're not aware of, go to my website and sign up for a consult. That's a time when you and I can get on Zoom and talk about the particulars of your situation, and I can show you how I could be helpful. The second thing you can do on my website is sign up for a freebie that I have called Difficult Conversations. Having a conversation that seems like it's going to be hard or difficult is one of the things that people pleasers struggle with. And so I've created a whole guide for you to be able to do that with some more confidence. That will also get you signed up for information about my group program, Stop People Pleasing. It's a group coaching program where you join a community of women just like you who are struggling to overcome perfectionating and people pleasing, and we do it together in a group. It's a really amazing opportunity to not just learn from your own experience, but just to see how similar you are to so many other women out there. The healing and the challenging and the laughing and the growth that happens in that beautiful community of women is really amazing. And if it's interesting to you, I would love for you to know about it.